Hello, people. Welcome to Main Event Boxing Talk, and I'm your host, Nathan. Hello, Tom. How are you?
Hi, Nathan. I'm fine. How's everything over in the UK?
Everything's good, mate. COVID rates are going up, but other than that, everything's good.
Yeah, I just flew in from Philly last night to California, and boy, are my arms tired.
Right, let's kick things off here. It's been reported that Saul Canelo Alvarez will be fighting Makabu for the WBC Cruiserweight title. This will be his, if he wins it, this will be his fifth world title at a fifth different weight.
Well, you want my opinion on this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I looked at Makabu. I watched a few of his fights so I could familiarize myself with him. And he's strong. He's a good puncher. But his balance is bad. His footwork is bad. And he's a slow puncher. And I think that's why they chose him, because of the boxing IQ he has. If you watch his leg movement, you'll see what I mean about the balance. Also, his chin is a little weak. So you saw when he fought Tony Bellew?
Yeah, his punch resistance isn't the best.
Right. So I'm thinking that's why they're cherry picking him as a way to do that. It's reminiscent of Roy Jones when he went up to fight for the heavyweight title against John Ruiz.
I don't think it's as bad as that. I think this is the fact that Canelo's so good and Makabu's not that great. That's all it is, and they're not that much bigger. There's not that much bigger in size. Canelo naturally walks around at 180, 190 pounds, whereas Makabu, right? He comes in at 198 when he's fighting. He's only just makes this 200-pound limit.
Right. So
he's a small cruiserweight.
Yeah, I think it's a reach for Canelo, but I think he could climb that mountain. It all depends on how motivated Makabu is. The other thing I'm looking at here is like, okay, so he took on Sergey Kovalev when Kovalev was weak.
Yeah.
You know, after that second fight, he didn't have enough time to heal or train. Plus, he was mentally shot, I think, at that point. Yeah. But he did manage to knock him out. You know, Canelo's a very strong puncher.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that if you really want to make a statement and you're going to go, he's not going to stay up there and keep the belt. He's not going to stay like James Toney did in the heavyweight division and fight all heavyweights. He goes up to cherry pick somebody and then jumps back down. So his main threat right now is Benavidez.
Yeah.
Is a threat. Charlo's a bit of a threat, although I think he can handle Charlo. I don't know about Benavidez. I think that would be a good fight for about 5 rounds, and then Canelo will start busting him up. Now, what did you think of Canelo and Plant? Because I don't think we talked about it.
No. To be honest, I didn't think that much. I don't think Canelo, it is just a boring fight. In my opinion, I didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, it kind of. I knew it wouldn't go the distance. I wanted it to go the distance, but I picked the 9th or the 10th round for him to get to him. But Plant put up a good show. I mean, better than his previous couple of opponents did.
But I think
Don't you think?
I think with a bit more experience, he will get better. I mean, he's 28, so he will get better. It's not like he was never a good fighter. It's just I don't think he'd had enough fights for this. You can't prepare for someone like Canelo.
No, unless you're GGG. But
he will win a belt again. He will win a belt again.
Yeah, Canelo vacates it. Now, Canelo's in a unique position to do whatever he wants to do right now.
Yeah.
And he even said that at the WBC convention, I'm going to do what I want to do now.
If he moves,
which I thought would.
If he has one fight at cruiserweight, he'll vacate it straight away. It wouldn't surprise me if he went for Usyk. That again, there's not that much. I mean, Usyk is 6'2", anyway, or 6'3". But
Yeah,
I
but
don't-
Usyk is too slick for him.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, of course, he is. I mean, obviously, Usyk would win. But what I'm trying to say, when you compare it stylistically, you know, Canelo weighs comes in at 203 pounds or something, whatever, and then Usyk came, and if Usyk trained himself down to 210, that could actually be a good fight. But obviously, Usyk would win.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how Canelo wants to close out his career. I don't think his legacy will eclipse Julio Cesar Chavez, like 90 wins without his first loss.
I think his career will eclipse Cesar Chavez. His career, you know, for me, he's already achieved more than Chavez. Chavez was a great fighter, but he's won all these belts, beating all these guys. You know, Chavez was a great fighter. You know.
Well, I can't take anything. All respect to Canelo, I can't take anything away from him.
I think he's the best Mexican fighter I've ever seen.
He's a great fighter. I still think that GGG beat him their first fight, and the second fight was very close.
Well, that's your opinion. I beg to differ.
Well, that's why we talk about these things.
Yeah, I know, you bastard.
So did Sue actually beat Inoue yet, or what?
Yeah, Tszyu won on unanimous decision.
Well, that puts him a step up in class right there.
He's ready for a world title shot. In another 2 fights, he'll be ready for a title.
He looked very impressive to me. His balance, his punching power, his defense. He's very well rounded. Now, I'm not familiar with this.
He is the product of how a great fighter's son should come up through the ranks, quietly and the right way.
But his father didn't train him, did he?
No, but what I'm saying is his dad, he's coming up the right way. Tszyu, he's come along quietly the last 3-4 years, and he's come along nicely.
That's right.
And now he's world level. He's a world level boxer, now.
So he's at 154, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's big. He has the frame to go up to 160, then 160.
Oh, yeah, he has the point to go up to super middleweight. He's a big guy.
Mm-hmm.
So he's 5'8". He's not that big, but to definitely go up to middleweight or super middleweight. I mean, he's 20. He's 27. He's not that young. He's 27.
Well, yeah. So, he's in a good position at that weight level right now.
He's beaten like former world champion, former world title challengers. I think that's his second world level fighter he's beaten now. The third world level fighter he's beaten.
Right. Well, it'll be interesting. I'll tell you, I like him, and we'll see, who's willing to fight him and where is he going to go from there. So what is this thing, that White turned down White's, the WBC turned down, they have a legal suit, the WBC with White.
With Dillian White, yeah, with Dillian White.
Well, how are they going to resolve that? Do you know?
No, but I have an idea how they could resolve it. Make Tyson Fury the franchise champion, or two.
I thought he was. I thought he was.
No, not yet. But Fury, they could. The way they could resolve it is give Fury the franchise championship, or if not, Fury vacates and he becomes the champion emeritus. So for me, the best thing the WBC could do to avoid any more of this legal bullshit is make Fury the franchise champion and basically just declare Dillian White the champion. Just give him the belt, like the way they did with Larry Hutton, like the way they did with Ken Norton.
Ken Norton, yeah, I remember that. And then he lost it to Larry Holmes.
Yeah, but because he's the interim champion for the last 2.5 years, it would make more sense just to upgrade him to, a full champion like they did with Devin Haney.
Yeah, that makes sense. Hopefully Mauricio can handle this and have it handled. He just basically turns it over to his lawyer.
Or they should just drop Dillian White for the rankings altogether and strip him, which would be the worst thing to do.
No, that wouldn't be right.
But Fury
He's not
makes
gonna
all the
do
money.
that.
Fury's the money man. You know, Fury makes the money.
Mhm.
You've got to get behind your fighters that make the money. You know, the WBC have always made their own rules. You know, or if not, just create a WBC Super Championship. Wouldn't that be easier rather than a franchise? Only the WBA do this, right? Create a super champion. Do you think it's about
Right.
time
Well,
the WBC did the same thing, had a regular champion and a super champion instead of this franchise nonsense?
look, the WBA is going back now to, they're cutting that down now. So why should the WBC follow what they did?
I'm surprised they never ever did it, in their history.
Mhm. I think that they should just let him get a shot at the title.
Yeah, but Fury won't fight him. What Fury doesn't need Dillian White. What he needs is to be named the franchise champion, or if not, have a fight with Usyk. The best thing he can do is vacate the title, right? Let Dillian White fight for the vacant title, and then Fury just becomes the Emeritus. He can fight somebody else, and then once he's had that fight, he can fight the winner of the new WBC champion. That would be a logical step, and then have a unification.
Mm-hmm. Well, a lot depends on what happens with AJ and Usyk too.
But if Dillian White's smart, he'll go a different route. Because Usyk is going to vacate some of those titles. One of those belts will get lost in the shuffle.
Well, who would strip him?
God knows. The IBF. They have strict mandatories, don't they? They're very strict with their mandatories. At the minute, there's no mandatory for the IBF belt. Only Charles Martin who's number 2.
Well, we're in this rematch like circular thing, where these guys have to wait years to get a shot at this title. It's crazy.
Let's see.
Now,
sorry, Karen.
You were going to say Charles Martin to fight
Charles
Luis
Martin
Ortiz.
will be fighting Luis Ortiz, yeah.
What do you think of this one?
I think it's a good fight.
I think it's a good fight too.
And
how old is Luis? Luis is getting up there now.
Apparently he's 40. Apparently he's 42 now. Or so it says. He looks more like near 50.
Yeah, well, he's like the George Foreman of the heavyweight division now.
Well, George Foreman, that's in shape, proper good shape.
Right.
Wow. You know what? Charles Martin, no. Ortiz on paper, Ortiz should win this fight. But because he's older now, I think Charles Martin would have a real chance, causing an upset here.
Well, the way Ortiz fights, he gets right on.
Oh, yeah. I don't think Martin's got the punch resistance to take too many of those shots. But Ortiz is 42, I'm not being funny. The last thing to go is your power, right?
That's right, but Ortiz is still good. I mean, he's not getting hit by Deontay Wilder. That's the
but what I'm saying is those kind of fights take 2 or 3 years off your career.
That's true. I mean, other than Wilder knocking him out, I don't think he ever got knocked out by anyone else, right?
No.
Well, we'll see.
But the stupid thing is, this is a pay-per-view in America.
I know.
It's not a pay-per-view fight.
It's not even a title fight, is it?
No, there's nothing on the line.
Well, it's a good heavyweight match, and that's what people want to see. They want to see good matches. They don't want to see this continual rematch and people avoiding each other bullshit. That's why I'm happy Porter is fighting Crawford, because that's a good match.
We'll come to that.
Quality.
I just wanted to talk about this card briefly, this Ortiz card. There's a lot of heavyweight fights on this card. You've got Frank Sanchez against Carlos Negron, that's a good fight. Jonathan Ross against Michael Polakov, that's a 50-50 fight in my view. Then you've got Gerald Washington against Demireshin, the Turkish guy.
That's good too. I think he'll beat him though.
Yeah. Then you've got Victor Vilchrist against Igo Kiladze, the Georgian heavyweight. This is a good fight. Victor Vilchrist is a little bit like the second coming of Klitschko, the way he looks, the way he fights, everything. but just not as developed.
Mhm. I'm trying to find that there. Okay, well, I think that's, yeah, there it is. I found it. It says pending approval. Has it been approved?
No, but it probably will happen. And then in other news, which I found absolutely hilarious, Kid Galahad loses his world title to the wily veteran Kiko Martinez.
Yeah, I saw that. He got
Shocking,
caught.
good knockout.
He caught him, you know. That's the risk you take when you fight like a guy that's fought as much as he did it, who knows how to fight in a war.
Martinez was not a mandatory, he was a voluntary defense. You know, and
Right.
he's fought all the British fighters at the super bantamweight and featherweight. I mean, this is hard to believe. Do you remember Kiko Martinez about a year ago, 6 months to a year ago, lost to Zelfa Barrett, who was a British level fighter?
I do remember that. It's a while ago, but I do remember that.
But Zelfa Barrett didn't even win that fight. The judges gave the decision to the British guy. It was a disgrace for him. I mean, Martinez did too much in that fight, you know. He didn't lose it. So when you lose to a British prospect and then you go a domestic level prospect, then you go and beat a world class. But did you watch the whole fight? Did you watch the whole fight?
Yeah, I did. It was back and forth, and then he caught up to him.
He was in control. I do believe it's the same as when Povetkin fought White.
Uh-huh. Well, let me say this. Look, the guy went there and he didn't leave it in the hands of the judges. So good for him. That's the way you have to do it. You got to take that belt.
There will be a line of people queuing up to fight Martinez.
Good for him. He'll make more money.
And also, I think Kid Galahad. I remember when he got banned from the UK for taking drugs. He was a super bantamweight. Now he's a featherweight. He's 31 years old. He can't even make the featherweight limit anymore. He's going to have to go to super featherweight. Yeah.
He's definitely, if he can't make it, he's going to wind up hurting himself.
He's the same as Josh Warrington. Josh Warrington can't make the featherweight limit anymore.
Didn't he just do an exhibition? I saw him doing an exhibition.
He did, yeah, with his friend, yeah. But you know what? Josh Warrington doesn't look too damaged since that loss, does he? No, not really.
No, he doesn't.
He could fight Kiko Martinez again.
His feet are good. He's moving well. Yeah, he should.
But if he had a rematch against Kiko Martinez, he'd win, wouldn't he? In my opinion.
He should. I mean, he looked pretty good.
What else is to talk about? Let me see what else was on our list.
Oh, we had Yoka versus Takam. I'm going to go with Yoka on that one.
Yeah, that's a good fight, you know. But I get the feeling that what's his name? Takam is getting recycled a lot now.
Yes, he is.
And the end is near. He's only got 5 losses, but he's like the next Kevin Johnson.
Yeah, he is getting recycled. He still has punch, so that's good. And Yoka's big and strong. It'll be a good fight, actually. I think this will be fun to watch.
Yeah, well, I think technically Yoka is much better fighter than Joe Joyce.
Technically?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Still was, yeah.
Joe Joyce. Well, do you think Joe Joyce can wind up fighting Fury?
Yeah, it's a possibility. They've talked about that, haven't they? That could be a voluntary.
No.
It could be a voluntary.
I think that could be a great one, actually.
Yeah, I still go with Fury to stop it, break him down and stop it in the 8th or 9th round. Joe doesn't have much. Joe's a good fighter, but he's so one-dimensional, you know. He doesn't have a lot to his game. Walk forward, throw bombs. The only reason he wins so many fights is because the other guys run out of energy, because when you're fighting someone who's throwing bombs at you continuously, it drains your energy.
Of course it does. That's what Marciano used to do.
Yeah, but Joyce can only fight one way. I've seen him use the jab a few times. He's got skills if he needs to, but the way he fights, he doesn't have to show much skill. You know, he can just wear people down.
And he does, and it works.
I do like watching him but he takes too many punches. Joe Joyce. Every time he fights, he's rolling the dice with that style. He needs to change up his style. Do you agree a little bit? Not eat so many punches.
Well, I think so. He's going to be in trouble with the big pounders.
If
he didn't get in trouble with.
I tell you, that would be over in 3 or 4 rounds.
Well, yeah, that's true. But he has the style that would make a fight entertaining with either Wilder or Fury.
But what I'm saying, Wilder, if he was to fight Wilder, that fight does not last long at all. One of those guys get either Joyce runs him over, or it's the other way around. Not either guy. It's such a dangerous fight for either fighter, isn't it? But I just think Joyce would be too slow for Wilder. By the time Joyce has thrown 4 or 5 punches like he does, Wilder would probably hit him 2 times with something big,
Right. It's like what's the fighter he fought? He knocked him out in the
Dominic Brazil. Dominic Brazil.
Yeah.
But Joe Joyce is like Dominic Brazil, but he can actually punch hard, and he can take. He's got better punches as well. But if Joyce was to fight a Wilder, I don't think Joe Joyce would beat Anthony Joshua or Usyk.
I thought you picked them once to beat AJ.
No, I think Joshua would just have a little bit too much for him,
Mm-hmm.
AJ's got too much skill for him. And Fury would just, break him down and laugh in his face, That's what he does. He breaks your heart. He takes your soul away. That's what he does.
I saw him in a training video today. He's training, and this huge guy was standing over him, just pounding him with a medicine ball while he was on the canvas, and he was screaming at him. It was like, whoa, man. He is a madman. Did you want to go on to these other fight cards here?
Let me have a look. Give me a second.
There's Wembley Saturday. Hosea Burton, Dan Azez.
Hosea Burton again. You know what? I'm not even that. That's a pretty weak card. Hosea Burton is. I'm not even going to bother with that.
All right. Yeah.
Not worth bothering with.
The next one's Crawford's card with Sean Porter.
It's a very weak card, isn't it? That.
Yeah, but the main event is exceptional.
My God, Hassan Jakam is on this, and Dan is on this card.
Nadam is there. That's right. Hassan Nadam.
Let me go to the card on my computer, and I can see what's going on. Oh dear. These damn Windows computers, guys, aren't still.
Well, the card is weak, but that
the WBC released their new ranking.
I'm sorry. All right. Well, we'll talk about that soon. Let's talk about this card.
That's why I'm just pulling it up now. I'm pulling it up now so I can get a better view of it.
We have a middleweight fight with Falcao and Voyny. Boy, Voyny's 6. They're both undefeated. Patrice. So Esquivilla
Hassan Jakam and Dam is fighting some guy who is a Uzbekistani guy. He's pretty good against the veteran Hassan. This is for the WBO global title.
Well, this guy must have a good amateur career because he only has 10 pro fights.
That's normally the way with these guys, isn't it? He's from Kazakhstan. So.
Right.
His record
should be good.
He's beaten Rob Brandt, so he's a good fighter.
Right.
So he should.
Well, that should be a good one. And then now let's see here.
Isaac Dogbo.
No, I don't know these other guys really.
Isaac Dogbo will be fighting
Diaz. Christopher Diaz.
I've never heard of Diaz before. Oh, he's lost to Neverati, Shakur Stevenson. And it should be a shutout win for Dogbo.
We'll see. Muratalla versus Arahu, Irahu, Elias
Raymond
Damian Arahu.
Maratalia. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. I
Yeah, so
can't-
he's lightweight, 12-0. They're probably bringing this guy up with somebody who's got twice as more fights here.
possibly.
Yeah. Well, that's what it looks like here. I mean, some of these fights could turn out to be really good here. But let's talk about the main fight here, Crawford versus Porter. Who do you pick?
I picked Crawford to win by unanimous.
How do you see?
decision. Unanimous decision.
Well, how do you see it playing out? Do you think Crawford could take him out?
Yeah.
Nobody has, right?
No. Taking out who? Porter. No, nobody has. But I think he's good enough to do it.
Well, I really admire Porter. He's really improved. over the
Again,
past 5
they're
years.
recycling him. He keeps being recycled. This man gets endless titles. Don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter and he will win a world title again. But I feel like he gets a lot of opportunities,
Yeah, well, did you hear? I saw an article that Porter is talking about moving up to fight Canelo.
Well, he's crazy.
I mean, I'm sorry, not Porter, Crawford.
Well, I think that would be a stupid move. Stupid move. He could move up to 154. But he's a small welterweight, isn't he? Crawford.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's just a money move. I mean, all of these guys that have fought Canelo recently have made good money. Didn't his last fight, he paid 10 million to Plant, didn't he?
Yeah, he does need to leave. What's his name? Arum. If he fought on Matchroom, he'd make millions if he fought on Matchroom.
Well, we'll see. He's getting older now too.
34. I think if he is to fight Canelo, he should cash out, then walk away. I mean,
Well, that's what he's
he's a
doing.
world champion,
I agree.
Maybe
But
he-
I think this fight is going to be close. I think
Yeah.
if Porter's going to be pressing him, and I think he's going to win most of the rounds. But I kind of agree with you. I think it's going to go to the distance. But he could. Porter is capable of hustling really hard.
You get bored of seeing him because for me, he gets far too many opportunities. I know he's a great fighter, but he seems to be getting a lot of opportunities,
Well, because he is a former champion, because he is a great fighter.
I think we're in a situation in that division where you've got the 4 top American fighters, right? Which is like when Hagler, Hearns and Duran, isn't it? They're like that era. They're the fabulous 4 of the welterweight division of this era,
I understand, but they're not fighting each other. And Errol Spence is questionable right now. We haven't heard anything about his eye recovery.
No, but he will be coming back soon. But if you look at this era of welterweights, you've got Spence, you've got Porter,
Garcia,
Crawford,
Thurman, right?
Danny Garcia, all these guys who are the elite fighters, and then you've got the next lot of guys, like your Avanasians and people like that.
Yeah,
Aaron Boots Ennis, all these guys.
Plus, we have what's his name coming up, Boots.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, Jared Jerome Ennis. And then you've got old guys like what's his name, Broner, Kell Brook, and all these old guys who really need to walk away. And then you've got Avanasian is about that kind of level, the Amir Khan sort of level.
Yeah, Amir Khan hasn't signed the contract yet, has he, to fight?
No, he hasn't fought for 2 years.
Kell Brook. Well, anyway.
What do you think about Liam Williams against Eubank? That's a pretty good fight, that.
I think it's a very good fight. I think, it's a solid fight between, both of those guys. I like Williams.
He's very tough, Williams, really, really tough.
He put up a good fight against Canelo, even though he got stopped.
Yeah.
You can't take anything away from him.
Okay, let's talk about the most unfan friendly guy to watch.
Andrade.
Yeah, great fighter, but he can't get a look in. Nobody wants to fight him. Canelo doesn't want to fight him. Nobody wants to fight him.
Well, he's a problem. He's a good, excellent boxer. He's a southpaw, and he can punch. So, what does he bring? It's a risk to fight him. I think,
yeah, carry on.
I mean, if he should fight Charlo, he would give Charlo problems. He would give anybody problems. But I think Canelo could take him easily. You know, he couldn't pull that movement where he bends down against Canelo. Canelo would uppercut him and take him out.
You know what? I've never been impressed with Andrade's power, but his skill level is good. You know, he can duck punches. You know, his defense is very good, but his power doesn't match his skill or his, defense. That's his problem.
He's not dramatic like Benavidez or.
Well, I still look at him as a 154 fighter. I don't look at him as a middleweight at all.
I'd like to see him fight Charlo, actually. I think that would be a good fight.
Yeah, I think he could beat Charlo, you know?
It's a possibility. Yeah, Charlo hasn't looked good in his last fight.
Charlo, for me, didn't he lose his belt about a couple of years ago, then he won it back again?
You're talking about the younger brother at 154.
Oh, Jamel,
yeah. So no, the middleweight, who holds the middleweight title.
WBC,
I think those two he should get it on. The two of them should get it on.
Well, the brothers.
Exactly. But the brother, I know it's silly. You know, that's why you see in MMA, the guys fight each other. That's why they have, the interest in the MMA, because they don't do this crap.
In your experience of watching boxing, have you ever seen two brothers fight each other who are the same sort of world level in history? Has it ever happened?
No, I can't say that I have.
How great would it have been to see Klitschko against Klitschko? That would have been a great fight.
Right. It could have been, but that's really bad. It's bad for the relationship. It's not good. It's your brother, your family member. And then if you go and the killer instinct kicks in and you go after him, you hurt him really bad, you're going to feel bad about it.
You know what? If you've got any rivalry, you put it aside, don't you? You put the fact that they relate to you aside, you get in there and you get it on, right? But I guess family is more important than, a few million, in my opinion. But they're both at the same time.
That's something that I don't agree with.
But both brothers were like unified champions,
Right. You're breaking up a little bit. Are you
can hear me? You can hear me.
Yeah. Yeah. So no, I've never seen that. I don't remember that. I'd have to look into some boxing history on that to check it out. But I don't recall anything off the top of my head of brothers fighting each other. They could have the Quarry brothers, the Klitschko brothers.
You could have cousins. You could have Tyson Fury fight his cousin, Hewitt. That wouldn't be a problem.
Now, I saw Joseph Parker training with Fury.
Yeah, he's getting trained by Andy Lee. Andy Lee is the second cousin of Tyson Fury.
Right, Andy Lee. I always liked Andy Lee.
Yeah, there's no bravado about him,
Yeah, but he was a very strong southpaw. He had a good power punch.
Yeah, he was a good fighter in his day.
He was the middleweight champion. I remember when Chavez beat him. I thought he was going to beat Chavez.
Yeah,
but it didn't turn out that way.
Yeah,
but I'm looking forward to again Porter and Crawford. So what else is on the agenda? I think we went through everything.
Let me have a look on news. We go to boxing news. Let's see. Yes. Hmm.
Hmm.
Oh God. Let's have a look at this. Hmm. God, there's not a great deal. Let's see what else. If I can pull anything else up. Well, I think that's about it, mate. We're done. There's nothing else.
Well,
really.
it was fun.
Okay, mate. We'll be back next week. I'm just going to stop recording. All right, guys.
All right.
We'll see you next week.